Welcome back to another episode of Heart and Soul. And today we are talking about burnout. I mean, can be such a wide variety from total exhaustion or burnout to maybe even going into depression. They're all sort of anchoring around the same area. So yes, I've suffered from burnout. I wasn't diagnosed by a doctor, but I was completely exhausted and I felt like just lifting my little finger was too much energy. It was just like I was in that complete tunnel, just doing and yeah, getting up, getting over the day, can't wait to go back to bed, that kind of feeling. And yes, there are small things you can do to help you feel better. And Janet and we're going to chat about burnout today. So welcome, Janet.
Hi, Caroline. Hi, everyone who's watching and listening. Yeah, I've had two burnouts, and again, not diagnosed, but really ended up in very bad health issues, and completely exhausted, drained, energy gone. And looking back, I can easily see why that happened. And we'll talk about the reasons why people may end up in burnout, and we want to prevent that. So it's all about helping you to prevent burnout, some tips and things that you can use to identify if you're heading in that direction and what you can do to avoid that, because that is really the key thing. Is if you recognize it, recognize what's happening, and then put things in place to protect yourself, to protect your energy, because it is about you said about feeling exhausted, is your energy is drained. Literally, you have nothing. You're running on empty because you've given. And I think there'll be quite a few people maybe listening or watching this who will recognize that feeling. And I know, Caroline, I think you're the same as me. I'm a people pleaser, or at least I used to be a very big people pleaser. And we know where that comes, like lack of self-worth and blah, blah, blah. There's whole reasons. And that exhausted me, absolutely exhausted me, trying to keep everybody else happy. What about you, Caroline? What happened to you? Do you want to talk about your burnout experience?
Yeah, definitely. It was also about, hello, recovering doormat, here I am. People pleasing, I mean, at the time I had 3 young children. I was in a really unhealthy marriage. I mean, back then I didn't know. Later on, hindsight is always great. And I tried to do everything. I tried to please my husband, keep my kids happy. I had no time for self. I was getting up, I think, at 4:35 just to get hit the ground running, get over the day. And I mean, by 3-4 p.m. I was so exhausted, and then the evening started. And I mean, for me it was, sure enough, people pleasing. I felt, I felt like a cow. I'm in Switzerland. I felt sort of like everybody took the milk out, and I am lying, all 4 legs spread, completely crashed, and there's still people coming and want milk from me. And I think sort of just like, yeah. And another client once told me she feels like a lemon, pressed out lemon, and then they're still squeezing out, nothing is coming. And it's definitely a complete lack of energy. I mean, and for me I was eating healthy, and I thought sort of, maybe I need vitamins, lack of something. We always feel like we can fix it. We just need more energy, like an energy boost, a coffee, and then I feel fine. But actually, it's really, when you have this complete exhaustion, it's not a spa weekend will be enough, not 2 weeks vacation somewhere alone will be enough. It feels like, it's like our phone, when they're sort of dead, and you plug them in, it takes a while before they're up again, before you can restart them. And I think that's sort of that feeling of you can just put up all the energy and it's not going there. So for me, it was really important to, get rid of all the energy drainers. I mean, people, things, anything, just really stepping away from all of that and learning to look after myself. No one probably will ever let their phone die. We have extra batteries, we have chargers, we have everything, and so many do that with their own kind of energy. They sort of keep going, pushing till maybe they collapse or something. So for me, it was definitely overgiving and not looking after myself, because I had no idea how, because everything and everyone was more important. Who was I to look after myself?
I hear that prior, and I think it would be, and I'm sure there's quite a few women, or definitely mothers, will know that feeling. Absolutely. It is. It's quite tragic that we, and particularly women, we put ourselves in that position. And it is when you are, that if you have that sort of people pleaser element to you, and you have that sort of need to almost get justification for everything, it really is quite hard to change that. But with the right healing, and it is a healing that you need to go through to shift that and rank yourself back up there again, because you're there to nurture everyone else, your family, your friends, your colleagues. I mean, for me, my first burnout was when I was working in London. I got promotion. I set an exam that people said, oh, you're never going to pass that. And I got this role, and it was quite a high profile role. And everybody was going, oh, you'll not be able to do it. So then I was trying so much harder to be able to prove them wrong. So I had that on my plate. I was living on my own. So you're dealing with everything on your own, paying your bills. And it wasn't sort of the online world that we are now, where you can pay everything online. You did no mobile phones in that era. So you were doing everything and running from here to there to do everything, trying to fit in, even getting food for a shop. I never had time. So it was really crazy. Plus then I was in a really terrible, abusive and bullying relationship he was really not happy that I had got this promotion, and he made my life absolute hell. Plus then I also found out, literally around that time when I was really struggling, that then I was diagnosed with primary ovarian failure. So there was 3 major blows. I mean, I could have coped with the job. I could have done that if I hadn't had these 2 other major things thrown at me. And I thought, and I literally that was it. I couldn't cope. I was just too much, because I was was getting up early, trying to get in to do the work that I needed to do, working long hours. Then meeting up with this guy who was not very nice at all. And then to find out that, I always wanted to have a family, and that wasn't going to happen. So it was 3 major blows all at once. So it was like a breakdown and burnout all together. And I just crumbled. And I remember taking a bag and boarding a plane from London back home to my family. And I took 3 months out to recover. And even then, I realized now I didn't quite get the help and support that I needed, but at least I was out of that environment where I could start that replenishing or re-energizing myself to be able to cope. And eventually I did go back to the company, and I took on a different role. And I started to try to care a little bit more about myself and try and protect myself a lot more. So that was the wall built up. But it really, really just completely, that was it. I just wanted actually everything to end because I just couldn't keep going. I had nothing more, as you say, nothing more to give, nothing more. And I really, really, and I think you're the same, you don't want anyone else to go through that. It really, if you can avoid it, and we'll share some tips with you how to recognize that and prevent that, because it destroys you.
It does. It absolutely does. And yeah, I mean, I had another incident when, I mean, I was low on iron, and very, very low, that didn't help my energy levels. And then I had the iron infusion, and of course I had an anaphylactic shock. And I was sort of gone, and they brought me back, and it took me a year to really get out of that and just to get that energy back up. And yeah, like it sort of didn't help having no emotional support, or then a husband who just says, yeah, you can't be tired all the time and you just get over it, and things like these, very emotional, abusive. And I had 3 young kids that, yeah, I was sort of their sole caretaker. And yeah, but it is a devastating time, and a time you just, yeah, you're ready to give up. And you look at everything, and that's the thing, we can't do everything right, we can eat sort of healthy, because that's the first thing we look at, sort of, do I eat enough vegetables, enough fruit? Is it a balanced diet? Do I have somewhere a lack of a vitamin or iron or something? And then of course we look at the energy level, of our energy body. But back then I had no idea about cutting cords, or that my root chakra is sort of depleted, because that's, in energy wise, it's that in the root chakra you are burned out, and depression, it's sort of, from energy point of view, it's the same kind of thing we can do. And I was never deeply rooted. I was not here on earth. I was always sort of open upwards, and I think that doesn't help. Then you can't do that. And yeah, self-care, for me, it was self-care. What's that? Sort of caring about self, nurturing about self, maybe even small walks. We don't have to go to a gym or jog or do all these extra stuff, because sometimes it can add stress. And stress, of course, is an energy sucker. It just sucks out all the energy out of your system, because then your whole body, your whole system is on hyper alert for everything. And you come home, and that's the typical thing, you need the coffee in the morning to keep going, and then in the evening you need the wine to wind down, and that sort of starts that cycle. So I'm not against a glass of wine or anything, but for me, I realized that even if I just have a glass of wine in the evening, I feel more tired the next day. So these are just ideas to figure out, but truly, what truly helped me is energy healing. It was amazing, and just coming back to self and getting a sense of self, sort of like, being in that cocoon and saying, who am I? What do I need right now? And it can be different every day, because I don't know about you, but we have all those good people with good advice. You just have to get out. You just have to eat salad. You just, or do a green smoothie or whatever else. I mean, they mean well, but sometimes we try all these kind of things and it's not the thing for us, because we are all unique. We all need maybe something special, extra special, nurturing self-care and self-love, of course, which is foreign when you're sort of out there keeping the world live and looking after everything and anything. And I know if listeners or viewers are burned out, and it's not always easy to just step out, but gently and slowly look after yourself more and more. It might feel completely foreign. It might feel very selfish, but this is the only way through it. It's about yourself, nurturing yourself, filling up your jar before you pour. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people dependent on you, because if you break down, who will look after the people you are looking after? And that was sort of my help. Sort of, something happens to me, who's there for my children? And I thought, okay, it needs me. So I need to look after myself, so I am here for my children. And because I don't know about you, Janet, it's not, you can't just put the switch off and then on, and then you look after yourself. It's sort of that slow progression. And every day, I mean, I learn more about self-love every day, and I have to sort of remind myself to look after myself too, especially now. I mean, it's a very tiring time. It's intense with the eclipse season, and the energies are intense, and I feel a bit more tired, and then just granting myself maybe an hour's nap or an hour reading is still not natural. So I'm tired, but I need to do this. It's so ingrained on us.
I think so as well. It reminds me, I read an article about women in the 1950s, when you were supposed to be the perfect wife, and that you were expected to have your house perfect for when your husband came home from work, and you had to be presented a certain way. And even to the point where it said, when you go to bed, have your makeup and all on and your pretty negligee for your husband, and wait till he's asleep before you go and remove your makeup and put your cold cream on, or whatever they put the rollers in, or whatever they put back in the day. And then you were supposed to get up early in the morning before your husband awoke to get yourself prettified, so that he never got to see you anything than perfect. And it kind of like, and like, because that's 1950s. It's not like it's 50 odd years ago. It's not lifetimes ago. And I'm thinking, the perfection, those women, the pressure that they must have felt to always be perfect. And that is also a big pressure on us when we see the world. There's so much out there, and I think you sort of touched on it. There's so much on social media where we see somebody's glimpse of their perfect life. They're perfect this, they're perfect that, perfect that. And I think we need to sort of be realistic and look past that illusion, because nobody's perfect. Nobody's without faults. No one's without flaws. And we have to recognize that just accepting ourselves for the way we are, and we're doing the best that we can with everything we've got, recognize that and give ourselves a pat on the back for that, because it isn't easy. And right now, there's a lot of pressure from many different areas on people right now. And if you do find, you're starting to just take a breath, as you say, maybe have that cup of tea, just 5 minutes, just to step away from it all and let it go. Because I think we're being pulled into all that's going on. And that doesn't help when you're starting to feel that prep, because I remember looking back how I felt, and I do sort of have to watch this myself now. I'm very aware of it, is this pressure. When I start feeling and being pushed, that's when depression happens, because you're depressed, you're pressed down. And I know from myself, my own experience and journey through depression, is that I really, really need to watch that. So once I start to feel that, I have to go, hold on, Janet, what's going on here? Is this the truth? Oh no, it's social media, it's somebody, it's not real. It's not real. So step away from it, let it go. And being aware of things like that, or anything that's you're listening to in maybe the news and what's going on, step away from it. Again, if we can't change it, just let it go and just bring yourself back to you, because that's where you can do the work, where you can make things happen. And you're absolutely right, Caroline, where we need to go back into recognizing our own self-care and building our self-love. Self-care and self-love go together. And once you step into that lovely area of self-love, self-care will really be part of that. And Caroline is, fantastic about that. She's got a wonderful course that can take you right through that. And that is really important. Once you put, and it's not as selfish, because people go, oh, but it's very selfish to talk about self. No, that's caring. That's the right kind of self-love, is self-caring. And as you say, you're doing it for the people you love.
And it's essential. That's the thing, it's, yeah.
Absolutely. So have you got a tip that you could share with somebody to say, how to prevent, how to recognize when they're going, that's happening?
Yeah, just be, like you said, aware of self. Sometimes we're not aware because we just keep going. We're in that hamster wheel. We just, keep going, and we're not truly aware of how low we already are, or how stressed we are. I mean, stress is truly, survival, everything costs more. We can go down that rabbit hole, and we lose connection to our soul and our heart. And taking a minute to just come back to your heart, just put your hands on your heart, taking in a breath, and just breathing out, and remembering that. For me, it always helped to say, in this moment, everything is okay. In this moment, I have nothing to do. And even during times, when bills were piling up, I said, right now, till the end of the month, I don't have to pay any bills or something. It's just, in this moment, I am alive. In this moment, I am here. And just focusing on that moment. And like you said, let go of all the media, of all the social media, of all stress from the outside, and just focus on yourself. Come back to your heart, taking in a deep breath, and just enjoy that moment and connect within. And we all have this 2 minutes, no matter how stressed we are, we have the 2 minutes to just come back to ourselves and let everything go. And and especially with the root chakra involved, if you can go out in nature, be outdoors, and that's truly essential. Also, there is sort of like a natural energy clearing and cutting the cords, the energetic cords. I think we all talked about that in the energy episode. So you can go back and rewatch or re-listen to previous episodes, because we share so many insights and tips already. And just being aware, maybe even having a little diary of sharing how you feel during the day or what has happened. Maybe at lunch you can sort of go over the morning and just see, did something tick you off or lower your energy? If your boss was screaming at you, or if that certain someone, whatever happened, or just be more aware what is stressing you, what is sucking out your energy. Or every time you see a certain friend or for a certain family member, and then the next day you feel completely drained. Or if someone calls you, we all have the certain friends that call or want something, and then you're completely drained. So just becoming aware, gently and lovingly becoming aware, and then you can leave that out. You can all tell someone that I don't have time right now. Sending you love, but I just don't have time for the one person that is always calling, taking an hour out of your day and sort of dumping their garbage on you. That's it, and just becoming aware of when, what days, what person, what events, what is happening for you, and when you feel good and when you feel not so good. Just having sort of a,
yes,
maybe with children, with the stars, you can put stickers on a month and observe that over weeks and months, and see the patterns. There are always patterns there for you to become aware and do that. And there is time before we end up in burnout to sort of step away. We have all the markers, and I think they are sort of, for each one of us, they are different. So it's truly important to notice that. And it's okay to be a bit more tired one day, but if you feel like day after day for a week or two, you feel tired and you get up and say, oh, I'm so tired, or you even mention a lot of times, oh, I'm so tired or exhausted, then it's time to stop and truly look after yourself, because your health is your wealth, and without your health, we can't do much.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is about reaching out for help, because hopefully you're not on your own, and you have to, but we've talked about boundaries before, and saying no, the power of saying no. It's all of those things. And I know it's not easy, because you and I haven't found it easy to do that, and I'm still a little bit rocky on the whole saying no thing. But don't beat yourself up about it. But if you've got someone that you feel that you can sort of speak to, and if there should be in a workplace, and if you're working in a bigger organization, there should definitely be someone there that you can go and speak to. I wasn't very good at sort of like pushing back that jobs were being put on me, because I was doing the extra. They knew I was the reliable one. She'll get it done. But what they were doing was putting all of it on me. And I needed to be able to say, you know what, I have enough on my plate here, try someone else. And I know that comes with age and experience as well. But you sort of like were afraid to say that. But it is important because we need to look after ourselves. We are our responsibility, and we have to step up to that. There's really, well, hopefully you've got someone who will help you as well, but ultimately you have to look after yourself, and you have to learn to push back if it's not yours and it's too much. You have to sort of go, do you know what? I've got enough on my plate right now. Not easy, and it does take practice, but believe me, you'll be surprised whenever you do step up and find the courage to do that, that people will respect you more and they won't push things so much at you the more you do that. And it does make life so much easier. But if you are the people pleaser that's going, oh yeah, I can do that, and you probably can do it, but you've probably got just way too much and you're in an overwhelmed state. That's not helpful. Really, really not helpful. So there's so many things that you can do to prevent. But the big thing, as you said, Caroline, is the awareness of knowing yourself, that you can regulate. Another great thing is a body scan meditation. If you take, like, it's about 2-3 minutes just to go through, and you're checking in with yourself. That's a lovely way of doing that as well. You mentioned there about tracking your energy levels. I've got a little freebie 7-day journal that you can download to help you to do that. But it definitely is reconnecting with you. Absolutely, you're the key one here. You're the priority. And you have to make yourself the priority. You have to put yourself up on that list. I know it's hard when you've got children. I've got a fur baby now, and I'm going, how come I can't get on with things in my life anymore? And I have to be up and I have to feed her and I have to do. So now I understand the extra pressure on mothers. Really appreciate sort of, how do mothers do this, have a family and work? I don't know how you do it. I really, really, really take my hat off to you, because it can't be easy. Can't be easy.
It's all a learning experience, and so is learning about yourself. Unlearning all the unhealthy behaviors that were put on us growing up and trying to fit in or anything. So yeah, take a breath, breathe in and let go, and come back to yourself, because you're a gorgeous flower that's worth being tended to. I don't know, do you have anything more to share about burnout, Janet? Sorry.
It is such a big topic, and I mean, we can go through so much of it, and a lot of the work that we do is helping people along the lines to avoid that scenario. Because once you step into self-love, self-care, for me, it's sort of reconnecting with your soul. When you reconnect that, and you reconnect with yourself as a person, and what your soul plan is and your soul purpose, all of that actually starts to fall away, because you're more, you just know where you're meant to be doing and what you do. That isn't to say that the world can sort of still be trying to press you down and get on you, and you have to be able to, as you say, cut cords, do protection, your aura. There are loads of tools that you can start to use, and that's what we want to share with you, is to help avoid you ever getting into that situation that both of us have been in. And absolutely, we don't want you to go in there. We don't. You're too beautiful for that.
Exactly, and you're worthy of being healthy and fit and energized, and of course looking after yourself. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, remember, you're a role model for your daughters, your nieces, for any young female in your life. Do you want them to grow up the same way, totally losing track, lost, not taking time for themselves, just being pressured to look after everybody and anyone? When we learn to say no, our daughters, our nieces learn to say no and learn to look after themselves and learn that they are worthy and good enough, just being who they are.
Oh, I think that's lovely. That's the divine feminine empowerment.
It is, it is. So thank you so much for another gorgeous, insightful episode. Always love to chat with you, Janet, so much. We can both share from different perspectives, and I hope the listeners and viewers got some great insights as well, and reach out. My name is Caroline Palmy, and you can reach me at carolinepalmy.com, and Janet is
Janet at janetgroom.com, and the website is janetgroom.com.
Perfect. So have a wonderful, wonderful day with lots of energy, rest, self-care, and self-awareness. Thank you so much.
Love and light blessings.